Yes, once again, this is your brother, your soul brother Taalib. The video I just made, titled "Why Black People Need to Take Control of a State." It was some technical difficulties, so I just decided to do this video over again because of that. However, yes, as I was saying in that video, dealing with the situation right now that we are facing as black people in this country, with these assault and attacks against us by the races that we live among every day here in this country called the United States of America. We see every day that we have no protection or defense against. And I'm gonna repeat it again, a situation that recently occurred, like in Atlanta, with this Caucasian woman who called the police on this black UPS employee for no apparent reason, while he was just out delivering mail packages. And her excuse was allegedly that he looked suspicious. Okay, well, you know, as I said before, it was for no reason whatsoever, blatantly, and her excuse also was that she didn't like his attitude when he had responded to the situation, which rightfully, the way he responded, rightfully so, because of the way that he was being harassed by her and the way that she was indiscriminately accusing him of just being suspicious while he was just doing his job. And I mean, the fact of the matter is that when his white co-USP employee got involved, she didn't even question him in the same manner that she questioned the black UPS worker. And see, this is a concurrent situation as she, you know, called the police like whites are constantly doing all the time. When it come to black people, just call the police because they know when they call the police on a black person, uh, you know, they're gonna come. They're gonna promptly respond, without no problem. And they're gonna respond quick. And this is the order of the day in America. Just like it was the order of the day during historic Jim Crow, when a white woman would holler rape by a black man, they'll come and lynch that black man. Well, today you call the police on a black person, they coming. And whatever the outcome is, it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. And usually we know when you call the police on a black person, is either a black person is gonna get shot or get arrested and possibly arrested on some trumped up false charges. So I mean, this is the order of the day. And we see this all the time happening throughout the United States. Just like this situation that just recently took place in Atlanta, Georgia. So, like I said before, this is what we face, and this is why we need to take control of a state like Mississippi, like me and brother Angel Snup Snup 7 of Reality Temple Ministries, aka Operation Exodus Mississippi, proposed a year ago. And an ideal also which is still on the table. If we wish to free ourselves, you know, completely from this situation that we face as far as living with our over 400-year oppressor, you know, we could see right now that no other country is gonna save us. Not even no country in the continent of Africa is gonna come save us. No God is gonna save us from this. No so-called spaceship or mother plane spaceship is gonna come save our happy ass. We got to save ourselves from this, you know, and this is just the bottom line. I mean, we are under siege as black people. We have no other choice but to save ourselves or perish. I mean, you know, and I mean, this is just simply a fact. I mean, you know, we could cry, we could scream, we could pout, protest, march, all we want to. We got to bring some real implement action to our plight, to end in the current plight that we are under as black people here in America. If we really want our liberation, if we truly, really want to be free, if we truly want real equality and justice for once and for all as black people in this country, you know, and I, as soul brother Taalib, which is bringing this to you in this video, the proposal of the Mississippi campaign is still on the table, you know, because right now, like I said, this situation, you know, about the police being called on us with impunity ain't gonna end. I don't care what president we are under either. No president in Washington, whether it's Trump or like you saw with Obama, is gonna do nothing to end this situation. I don't care what kind of promises we get just so the president could get a vote, just to get elected. I mean, you know, we got to take a state. Then that's when we start talking to the federal government in Washington and negotiating what we want for us as a people once we get a state behind us that's going to quarantine us from this indiscriminate treatment that we receive every day as black people in this country. The only solution is taking control politically of a state like Mississippi. And then once we are successful with that project, then we move on toward taking control politically of the state of Alabama and Georgia and so forth and on. I mean, by getting multiple states behind us, you know, and then we want the help of another nation. That's what we got to do, is get a state behind us, and then you will start seeing other nations being willing to get behind us, and even other nations in Africa getting behind us. You know, we got to put some protection around ourselves if we really want protection from this racist brutality that we are faced with every day in America, just by living in fear of the fact of just being black in America. You know, the fact that we can't go out in the streets and breathe or sneeze or just spit on the ground without worrying about the police being called on us, worrying about police brutality, worrying about being stopped by some racist peckerwood that want to blow our head off anyway. You know, just because they see a dark-skinned face. I mean, this is just the reality that we find ourselves in, and I mean, unless we really want to exist, you know, as a free people for once and for all, and I ain't talking about so we can, you know, treat other people unjustly like our over 400-year-old oppressor has treated us through all these centuries. I'm talking about by setting an example where the rest of the world could follow behind, where all humanity then could finally see what true freedom is like from just being oppressed as a human being, you know? And I mean, because at the end of the day, this got to come to an end. I mean, we are the most oppressed people of any other people in the world, as far as black people in America being concerned. No other people has suffered what we've suffered in the annals of history, of human history. You know, far as slavery and Jim Crow oppression, mass incarceration. I mean, so like I said before, we are a testament when it comes to the travesty of human oppression. You know, I mean, our history alone just speak for itself. So we don't have to, keep on, you know, uh, talking about that. All we got to do is come with a concrete plan, like with this idea of the Mississippi campaign, where we can implement by putting an end to all this crap for once and for all, by taking our liberation in turn then where we can take our reparations, which we keep asking an enemy for that has already told us flat out to our face that they not gonna give us. Just like with the ADOS movement, which is trying to come with this thing far as reparations, which, a current presidential candidate has said no to, which is not an option, which is not an option on the table. So, in other words, we got to take our reparations. That's basically what the whole message is. That's what the memo is. We got to take ours. Ain't nobody gonna give us nothing. And it's just that simple. They would have gave it to us by now if they was gonna give us those 40 acres and a mule that they promised us when we was supposedly free from slavery in the year 1865. So, like I said before, at the end of the day, we are in a situation where where we got to, take our reparations. We got to take our liberation. And like I said, something big, which is getting a state behind us, getting a good paying job, living off a fat bank account, having a nice car, a nice house, a nice mansion, just ain't gonna do the job alone. So-called generational wealth ain't gonna do the job alone either. I mean, we saw that with the situation of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We saw that with the situation of the so-called Black Wall Street in Rosewood, Florida, with the Rosewood massacre. I mean, and these other Black Wall Street massacres that took place around the country. I mean, we got to have a state behind us with the protection of a state National Guard, with the protection of you know, the state political system behind us completely 1000%. That's the only way we going to be free of this situation, is that we got to take control of multiple states, starting with Mississippi. I mean, we got to take political control of a state. That's the only way we're going to, be able to quarantine and separate ourselves from this racist oppression that we find ourselves in every day, that we find ourselves under siege of every day as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. You know, this is just the bottom line to that. I don't know how more simple, we could get the memo. I don't know how more simple it is to understand the memo that's facing us. We either take control politically of a state or accept our, place as a slave, or just being in a slave-like condition, like someone would say, I mean, it's just that simple. I mean, I don't, see no other options. We tried civil rights. We tried this so-called pro-black conscious other crap, these religions that ain't did nothing for us. We saw where, this other stuff that was tried that failed us. And we still living off of the dead, trying to live off of old ideals of dead people like Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Elijah Muhammad, which ain't liberated us completely, which ain't gonna liberate us. We living off the ideals of the dead. Come on, stop it, people. We got to try something new. And most of us have already, rejected the ideal of the Mississippi campaign, which ain't even been tried. We ain't even attempted it to get it up off the ground, and we already rejecting it. Come on. We got to try it. Got to at least try it. I mean, I mean, hey, like Harriet Tubman said, only if we knew we could be free. Only if we knew that we could be free. And I mean, this is the situation that we find ourselves in. We don't believe that we can free ourselves from this, though we in turn think we're free, but we're really not. I mean, we're not free. We can't even go to Africa unless we get a U.S. passport. That's not freedom. you know. So, I mean, how free are you? Just ask yourselves that. We're not free. You know, we just because we have soul brothers and sisters like Beyonce, JC, Floyd Mayweather, LeBron James, Bill Cosby, Oprah Winfrey, Eddie Murphy, Magic Johnson, you know, Byron Allen, Stephen A. Smith, and the list goes on, you know, that got wealth or massive wealth. But at the same time, you know, in the grand scheme of things, Slave Massa is making 100, billion times more off of the talent that them soul brothers and sisters are producing. They're more, 100 million more times richer. So, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, who is the most successful? Them or Slave Massa? I mean, see, we got to look at all this. And with the state behind us, they will make all the money. Not Slave Massa. They'll make all the profit. 100% more. Not Slave Massa. See, we got to look at this at the end of the day and see how important it is to have a state behind us. That's what this is about. Us being free, where we could freely grow our own agricultural food produce without being up under, stipulations and regulations of our 400-year-old oppressor. Where we could organically grow our own stuff like we want to by having the political control of a state behind us. You know, like I said, where we will have the National Guard behind us to protect us, especially when the federal government want to make a move on us, where we have other countries backing us. I mean, where the federal government just can't come in and make a move on us whenever they want to, and however they want to. I mean, this is the real true importance of what it is to have a state behind us. This is why the Mississippi campaign is so important. Brothers and sisters of soul, who I refer to as dark-skinned descendants of slaves born here in America. This is what this is all about when it comes to the Mississippi campaign and us as black people taking political control of a state. This is why it's necessary for black people to take control of a state, which I was speaking about in the video that I was so much technically interrupted in. So like I said before, this is, serious. If we truly want freedom, if we want to not be worried about some racist cracker calling the police whenever they please, just because they know that the police is going to respond when they identify a black person that they're calling the police on. You know, and all this other good stuff. You know, we ain't got to worry about the problem of gerrymandering, mass incarceration. You know, just like somebody say, when our people get caught up in a tight situation and want to run from New York or California or run from Illinois, you know, or something, they could come to Mississippi. Then we could negotiate with these different places because they just can't, you know, lock our people up. You know, they got to come through the state of Mississippi. You know, and this is real. This is why it's important to have a state behind us. You know, this ideal of the Mississippi campaign, like some have already called it a pipe dream, hasn't even been tried. You ain't even tried it yet. So how can you even call it a pipe dream when you ain't even tried it yet? When it's not been tested or tried yet? So, you know, you have already defeated your purpose when you call it a pipe dream. Stop it. Just simply say you scared. Just simply say you don't want to be free. That you don't want to be liberated from your slave oppressor. Just go on and admit that instead of just throwing that excuse out by saying that the Mississippi campaign is a pipe dream. You know, we already living in a pipe dream by being, you know, attacked through the means of police brutality, through racial gerrymandering, racial profiling, mass incarceration, you know, with 2 million or more of us as being over incarcerated, over sentenced, you know, for no reason. But to the fact that it's all about the extermination of us as a people. You know, I mean, I don't like the idea I had to do this video over again because of technical difficulties. But that's how much I care about us as a people, who I refer to as the people of soul. Whether you want to refer to yourself as black people, Africans, Hebrew Israelites, Nation of Islam, the tribe of Shabazz, Egyptologists, Kemetic. I mean, you know, this is how much I care about us. But do you really care about yourselves? Because right now you ain't got no respect. Like I said in the other video, the immigrants, you know, don't even respect you, which include the Mexicans, like the ones that's running our people out of Compton and other parts of LA. Like I said in the other video, before I was so interrupted technically, you know, how can you who call yourself Crips and Bloods even look at yourselves as men when your communities is being terrorized by Mexicans? You know, black communities in Compton and other parts of LA, where you just being ran out of your neighborhoods, houses being shot up, you know, families being terrorized, but you still call yourself man or whatever, you know. How can you call yourselves men, period, when your women and children are being killed in the street by these racist cops or these other races, you know, constantly being terrorized every day, just living under the threat of just having the police called on you because you black. We ain't got no kind of defense, but you call yourselves men. You call yourselves kings or queens. You know, really? I mean, come on. Cut the bull crap, really. Just cut it out. You know, and that's really all I got for right now. And with that said, I'm Audi 5000. Peace.